Good morning, Chavre. Today is the 4th of Sivan. Let's begin with counting the Omer. We're up to the 48th day on page 139. Let's say together, Hayoim, Shmoina, Ba'arboim, Yoim, Shehem, Shisha, Shavuos, Shisha, Yomim, Lo Imer. Today is the 48th day, which is 6 weeks and 6 days of the Omer. Which means tonight is going to be the final counting of the Omer. And tomorrow evening, Chavra, tomorrow evening is the holiday, the awesome festival of Shavuos, where we receive the Torah. And tomorrow is actually a very special day. We'll get into that tomorrow of Nasav and Nishma. But for now, we're going to begin Chinuch Katan, Introduction to Shara Yichud Ve'emunah. On page 91 in your Chayenu. It's a little bit lengthy today. We'll do the best we can to get through it together. In this introduction to the second section of Tanya, a parallel is drawn between the child's early education, which serves as the foundation for all future growth, and the love and the fear of Hashem that we develop at the outset of our service, our Avodas Hashem. Although we aim to surpass them, they remain a vital bedrock. The basis for arousing or achieving love and fear of Hashem, whose process is dealt with extensively in the first section of Tanya. It is our absolute faith in Hashem's unity and oneness, which is the theme of this section. The heading written by the Alter Rebbe is as follows: Likutei Amorim Chelik Sheni, compilation of teachings part 2, Hanikra B'Shem Chinuch Katan, which is entitled Chinuch Katan, Education of the Child. We look at a piece Farim, a piece Seifri K'dayshe Eliyah Nishmas Eden, compiled from sacred books and from teachers of heavenly saints whose souls are in Gan Eden. This mention of his sources echoes the words of the Alter Rebbe in the title page of part 1. And the 6th Lubavitcher Rebbe, Yitzchak Shneerson, the Friedrich Rebbe, notes in one of his talks that books here traditionally refers to the works of the Maharal and the Shalom, and teachers are the Baal Shem Tov and the Maggid HaMezrich. The Yusad al Parsha Rishena Shel Kriyashma are based on the first paragraph of the recitation of Shema. The first pasuk contains both the verse Shema Yisrael and the second sentence, which begins Baruch Shem. As explained in the Zohar, these quotations refer respectively to the Yichud Ilah, the unity, the higher level of unity, and the Yichud Tata, the lower level of unity. It's around this theme that part 2 of Tanya revolves. Here we go. Here we begin on page 92. Chanech lenar al pi darkei, gam ki yazkin loy yoser mimeno. Educate a child according to his way. Even as he grows, and if we do so, even as he grows old, he will not depart from it. My son once met this guy, and he's having a conversation with him, and he says, "I used to be from. Right now, I'm off the derech." My son immediately responds, "How do you know you're not on the derech that Hashem wants you to be on? You're on a different derech. We're all on our derech. Somehow, sometimes it's the longer, shorter way. Sometimes it's the shorter, longer way. So everybody has a different way, a different path. This implies that it's not the path of perfect truth, but merely a path to be followed by the child." I'll say this on the recording. The other day, the kids in my son's class got in trouble because they went to watch the Bachrim play ball. So it was most of the class. They got in trouble. So I said to the teacher, "What would be so terrible if you took the few kids that didn't go, bring them also to watch the Bachrim play? I guarantee you would score so many points with the kids. The kids want to play ball. They're watching Bachrim play. It's not like they ran off to, who knows where. They're watching the Yeshiva Bachrim play. It's not going to be that long. You watch them play, and on the way there, on the way back, they'll tell them, guys, you owe me one. They'll love you for it. They'll learn extra hard." Telling you, he was like, "Wow, I never thought of that. Thank you." You have to educate the child according to his way. He likes baseball? Okay. Dimkein mai bamalusa. Shagam ki yaskin lo yosur mimeno. So what is the merit that says even as he grows old, he will not depart from it? Indeed, it would seem that the very opposite would be the case. When the child would mature, he should forsake his childish path. Why would we want to teach him on his level? Then when he gets older, he's still going to be on that level. And we teach a kid, you wanna say, if you say a bracha, I'll give you $1. When you get older, you'll be like, if I do something good, I'll get $1. No, it change. Things develop as time goes on. It's well known that the awe, meaning literally, here we're translating, it's translated as awe, but we'll also say fear and the love of Hashem are the roots and the foundations of divine service. Hayira, shoyresh v'yisoid l'sur meira. Awe is the root and fundamental constraint of refrain from evil. If you're going to have awe, you're going to say, how could I possibly do this? Let's mix a little sprinkle of fear in there, You don't want anything bad to happen to yourself. Okay, so that's staying away from evil. And to love Hashem is to do good. Try to, every mitzvah that comes your way, whether it's from the Torah or from the rabbinic, from the rabbis, the sages, we try to fulfill them, as we've explained in chapters 4 and 41, the first part of the Tanya. Educating the child is also a mitzvah. So that's part of loving Hashem, is to educate the child. Concerning the love of Hashem, it's written at the end of the portion of in Parshas Eikev, which I command you to do, to love Hashem. We have a commandment to love God. Isn't love subjective? Is it objective? It's abstract. How can you command somebody to love something? Love is how you feel. It's not what you do, right? So he explains, so he explains over there that there are two kinds of love of Hashem. One is a natural yearning love of the soul to its creator. So since this love is intrinsic to the soul, which is a part of Hashem, this love need not and indeed cannot be created at all. It's something that's a part of you. From the time you're born, it's passed on from your ancestors. And the rational soul pervades over the grossness of the body and subjugates it. So the rational soul comprehends godliness in such a manner that it's able to cause form, to master matter, to overmaster the body and harness its corporality. And when it does so, asai, what happens then is that the soul will flare and blaze with a flame that ascends of its own accord. So it's not going to be a flame. It will not be a flame, not with a love created through contemplation, but a natural love. The mastery and refinement of the body, the soul's innate love of Hashem could be revealed. So when you do a mitzvah, you suddenly feel attached to Hashem. You don't have to know where it came from. You don't have to think about it. It happens naturally. The soul will rejoice inwardly and outwardly to Hashem, its maker. And will delight in Hashem with wondrous bliss. So in this instance, the delight is part of the love and the divine service itself, rather than a reward for the divine service. While you do the mitzvah, you feel great about it. You have an opportunity to connect to Hashem through this mitzvah. If you could reach the level of tremendous joy in a state of this great love, Those people that are able to reach that level are called tzaddikim, k'diksiv, simchu tzaddikim b'Hashem, rejoice in Hashem, you tzaddikim. So to serve Hashem with the light of this order is the privilege of tzaddikim alone. Although the above described love emanates from the godly soul, which is possessed by every single Jew, this reason one would expect everyone to be able to feel it. Nevertheless, it's not experienced by all. Maybe you feel some kind of a joy when you do a mitzvah, but an intense, overt joy is really felt. Ach loi kol adam zochel is that not everyone's privileged. Only tzaddikim reach this level. For this, for you to reach this intense joy requires an intense refinement of one's physical grossness and indeed a great deal of Torah study and good deeds. So that means you can't have any physical pleasure of the physical world. It has to be just everything we do is dedicated to Hashem. And unless we can do that, we're not going to experience the level of joy that a tzaddik experiences when we do a mitzvah. Okay, fine. Let's go to the Neshama El Yoina, Shalamayim Derege Ruach V'Nefesh, in order to merit a lofty soul level of Neshama, which is superior to the level of Ruach and Nefesh. It's explained in Reishis Chachma Shara. Okay. So that's the intense love that we could feel, maybe a drop, but they can feel much higher. Now there's a love that we could all reach, and that's when a person sits down and meditates and thinks about the greatness of Hashem, so that it echoes into the depths of his heart. On matters that arouse the love of Hashem in the heart of every single Jew. So how is he going to do that? Whether he meditates in a general way. That God is our very life. Just like you love your own life and your own soul, you do anything to preserve your life. That's the same way he's going to love God. So when a person sits and meditates on the fact that Hashem is his life, he will love Hashem when he reflects in his soul and in his heart that Hashem is his true soul and actual life. As the Zohar comments, you are my soul, I desire you. So the Zohar explains that since Hashem is the Jew's soul and thus his true life, the Jew loves and desires him. So when we meditate in such a way, when he sits down and thinks deeply and understands and comprehends in detail the greatness of Hashem, the King of Kings, the Holy One, blessed be He, for example, he may reflect on the manner in which Hashem fills all the worlds and encompasses all the worlds and how he creates everything, and the creatures are nothing before him. So when a person sits down and thinks that way, maybe during Shema, maybe during the holy time, or maybe beforehand, or maybe the evening, before he goes to sleep, kasher yuchal seis b'sichloi omashem l'mayla misichloi, to the extent that his intellect can grasp, and even beyond. So there's a certain level to which he could relate, and then he says, you know what, I'm going to go beyond that. Maybe I can't relate to it, but I'm still connecting in the deepest possible way with the Melech Malchei Amlochim. And then after he goes through this intense meditation, he's going to contemplate Hashem's great and wondrous love, a love that led him, Hashem, Leidei L'Mitzrayim, literally, it caused, this intense love caused God to go down to Mitzrayim, not a messenger, not an angel, but Hashem himself. Erev Asad is the most despicable place in the earth. To take our souls out of the iron crucible. You know, it's very hot. To take the Jews out of the gullus that they had descended into, which is the Sitra Achra, L'karveino elav, to bring us close to him. Where? By Har Sinai, to give us the Torah, which we're about to celebrate tomorrow night. To bind us to him and to His name, because He who Shema Echad, Hashem and His name are one. Dahainu, Sheyemimonu, Metachlis, Ashiflus, Vatuma, Vetachlis, Akdusha, Gdulasi, Isbarach, Leikates, Vetachlis. That's to say, Hashem took us from the lowest place and swept us out and brought us to the highest place to bind and to be bound and connected with Him. So that's all a person, if you want to have deep, intense love for Hashem, just think about that. Think about that. Hashem could have left us there. We'd still be their slaves today. We'd still be their slaves today. So when one sits down and thinks about the greatness of Hashem, that Hashem is King of all kings and created the heavens and earth and fills the earth and fills the heavens and created everything, and everything is nothing compared to Him, and Hashem could make everything it doesn't even take a snap of a finger. We would revert to nothingness. And nevertheless, He went and He took us out of Mitzrayim, the lowest place on earth, physically and spiritually the lowest place. And He brought us to be bound up and connected with Him. He chose us from all the other nations. Then, as water, face reflects face, when you look in water, you see your face, so does the heart of man to man. And just as one person's love for another awakens his response in another, so too, and we love Hashem and we reach out in such an intense way, we know that Hashem loves us. It's going to work both ways. A love will be aroused in the heart of everyone who contemplates and meditates upon this matter. Hashem chose to take His time to go down and save us from the lowest level and bring us close. And when we recognize that, there's going to be a mirror effect. We're going to love Hashem. We're going to love Hashem with an intensity. And we're going to cleave to Hashem with all our heart and soul. As will be explained at length in its place. So the takeaway for today's Chevra, no one can make you love something. That's up to you how you're going to feel. However, if you sit down and think about it and think how much Hashem loves you, Hashem is ultimate good, and Hashem certainly deserves your love, so then you're going to love Him. When you love Hashem, Hashem loves you, you love Hashem, Hashem loves you, you love Hashem. It goes back and forth, and that's how we draw out the intense, fiery love of Hashem. So Alter Rebbe gives us the tools, the tactics, the ability, the skill set. All we have to do is just do it. Take a few moments before you go to sleep and think deeply of Hashem's great love for you. Beautiful way to